Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream. Today, Ron Nicoletti along with Brian Nano. It is a beautiful Friday morning here at about 11:30 a.m. And there you see our three different racing surfaces here. Just a mere month away, not even before we get back on that luscious turf course you see to your right. And there's a good picture of it. So fast main track, firm turf course. Of course, we got $100,000 gross jackpot guarantee in the Rainbow Six today. And, of course, it's Breeders' Cup weekend, and you can watch and wager on all those races right here.
Absolutely. Big day on Friday, obviously, with 10 races. And tomorrow we're going to open up early. We've got silks and all that good stuff. So we hope to see you out here. Stop by and say hi. And, you know, you're talking about the turf. It's we can finally say that now, Ronnie, because I think it's fresh on the horizon. December's coming around. You can see that turf course looking beautiful.
Yeah, looking good. They've been working on it non-stop. Should be fantastic championship meet. But the turf is going to kick off on, about December 1st. We'll see how that plays out. So the first race today, after all of that said, is going to be on the Peter. These are about 5 furlongs. Maiden claiming filly 2-year-olds, $35,000. Brian put together an early pick 5 ticket.
Yeah, what a better way to get the bankroll pumped up a little bit. Very affordable ticket here, 4 deep in the opener, which we will talk about. Vivia in the second is the single in race number 3. Top pick is T-ville there. Liam McCannis done a very quietly, very good job, especially on the Tapeta in race number 4. 14 is the order, Sweet Actress on top. And then in the 5th to get out another single. That's my best bet of the day, the aptly named, Ronnie, Sovereign of Speed, who is, I hope, going to break running. We'll take a deep breath and see how far she goes.
Stretching out for Jose D'Angelo with MCL Jaramillo in the saddle today. Getting to this first race, the current 9-5 favorite is the number 8, Vimy Sofa, a daughter of productive sire Cantharos. I went a little different way, Brian, and so did you. I went with Cloud Storage, who's turning back slightly after responding to the drop down to this level with a second-place finish. We're gonna show you this horse turning for home. I thought it ran really well. I mean, you're going to see this horse turning for home, stuck behind horses. There you see the number 6 horse, Cloud Storage. And it's always all about the trip in this race, so we're going to kick it off, and you just see, looking for that spot, you know, and if you went a little further back, was just mired between horses, then splits out, and I thought ran very well in here in this day to be second when she tips out. You can see she just keeps coming. Now, they went okay early. They didn't go fast. It wasn't a perfect setup for her, and I thought she ran very nice to be second in this race, and just that little bit of hesitancy to, you know, stuck behind horses, may, of course, maybe the win.
I agree. I mean, 5.5 furlongs is such a snappy trip. You really can't afford to have any traffic issues whatsoever, and clearly the daughter of cloud computing had a little bit that day. She would have been right there. If she didn't win one, she would have been right there in the photo, and let's just hope we get some clear sailing today.
The number 8, Vimy Sofa, who's currently up there 2-1. Maybe they're trying to tell us something early on in the wages. The daughter of productive sire Cantharos, debuting for Victor Barboza Jr., who's fought 19% with his first-time start as Lionel Reyes in the saddle. Victor got his 400th win the other day. I think 401, too.
401, yeah. I didn't know what to make of this horse, and I don't like to play jockeys musical chairs, but Amicia is on the 5 and Lionel's on the 8, and I would think, you know, Amicia more of a go-to rider. We'll see. That's just me speculating just a little bit. I have no knocks here. I like this post, and it looks like, Ronnie, too, those last few works really ticked up a little bit.
Yeah, so you see how it goes. We have the 5 and second, you know, 6 and third, Gigi's Golden Girl, the daughter of winner early sire Cajun Breeze. I like that for Mike Yates. Maybe he can run well, but I think the logical 2 are going to end up when the smoke clears being that 4, and probably the 8. Now, they're trying to tell us something. Well, race number 2, we're going to stretch it out around 2 turns, about 1 mile, 70 yards on the Tapeta. Starter optional claimant. These are 2-year-old fillies, started for 35 or less at a tag of 35,000. Scratch the number 4, Child Memories. I think one of your singles in your early pick 5 was the number 10 horse, Via. And let's go back, and we're going to show you this horse's last race. No, it's back on September 17th. You know, dropping. Now, here's this horse here. There's the number 10 that day. Now, I picked it up here, but this horse was battling for the lead all the way until this point here, and is still battling for the lead at 19-1. Now, this is the our dear Peggy, $65,000, and I thought this horse, you know, with Sonny Leon in the saddle, just fought on bravely through the stretch and ran very well to you know, to finish setting the pace and still game all through the wire. And, wasn't supposed to win. Who wins? The 8-5 shot, blind spot.
I think it's a good point. And when you watch this race and you remember what Vivia was going in, she had just beaten $35,000 maiden claimers. She's on the inside in a three-way duel. You just saw the favorite winning. You're going to think to yourself, well, she's going to back out and, be seventh in this race, beating 9 lengths. She's fighting all the way to the wire. I didn't think the rail was a good spot that day. I move her up that much more. To me, Ronnie, she's a pretty easy single in this race because we'll get to a few others. Whoever you're coming up with, they really need to move forward to get to her.
You did come up with the 3 Harlan's Legacy, this one from the Victor Barboza Jr. barn.
Well, it's just one of those deals where, well, why is she in here? She's a maiden. And we're going to get some value because of that. She had a little bit of a trip. She was off slow, and she was green. You see it there. And the horses that ran 1, 2, or 3 were Garden Trip stalkers off a duel. So she might have gotten flattered a little bit. But as we know, and we'll show later with some graphics, you make up 8, 9 lengths on the Tapeta sprinting. That's not easy to do.
No, yeah, she ran well, and there'll certainly be a price in there, 15-1 on the morning line. The irony, the number 6 really intrigues me because of this saying right now. Moves to the Ron Spatz barn after the claim. He doesn't claim a lot of horses, so he might have 2 claims in the last year or so. This one turns back, set the pace, and held on gamely to defeat those 35 maidens going 8.5 furlongs on the all-weather Tapeta. They had the new connections now keep the status quo. They got Edgar Zayas at the controls. I find this horse so intriguing in this race.
It's a dangerous horse for all what Ronnie just said. The other Ronnie Spatz, just does not do this. And not only does he claim this horse, he doesn't want to risk her for a tag again, too. You take note here. Don't sleep on this horse.
Yeah, the number 5 horse, Wheeling and Dealey's returning to the all-weather, stretching out around 2 turns. Finished trouble starting third, going 5.5. It's a daughter flat out, so she thinks she would get the distance. Why am I mentioning it? Miguel Vasquez is here.
Yeah, without a doubt. And he's ridden her the last 3 times. Clearly, the Tapeta race 2 back was by far her best race. It's honestly the only time she's ever really done any running, at least figure-wise. So the stretch is a question mark, but like Ron said, she's supposed to handle it.
Race number 3 this afternoon is about 1 mile and 70 yards on the Tapeta. It's a claimer for 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 in life, 12-5 down to $10,000. Got a couple of scratches and a jockey change in here. The number 2, Grand Sir, is scratched. The number 5, Socially Long Distance, is out. The number 6, Dunnigan, is listed as a gelding, and we'll have Sammy Camacho Jr. Darren Gagne will be up a little later on and give you all the scratches and changes you need in this race. You went with the number 3 horse in here, T-Ville, who drops to the 12-5 level today.
Yeah, 120 on Dunnigan, too. Take note of that because we're going to lose the apprentice weight allowance. It's a little bit of a spread race to me, Ron. I thought T-Ville simply on the drop, and I mentioned, too, when I was talking about my early pick 5, I think very quietly Leon McCannis has done a good job. Listen, he doesn't have the best stock on the backstretch. He doesn't start a lot of horses, but anything he runs are in the right spots. And he took a shot last time off for 20. Now I think back at 12.5 or to 12.5 today, this is a good spot for this horse.
The number 8, No Man Left Behind, moves to the Victor Barboza Jr. barn after the claim, turns back just a little bit today after surrendering that late lead when finishing second against this level, going a mile into 16th on the Tapeta. The barn is good. They're 25% with new claims. They keep Edgar Zayas at the controls. Looks like a major player to me.
Yeah, old Stat Boy came up with one, too. They're even better on the claim off this. Check out this stat for Victor Barboza Jr. Not a huge sample, but he's 4 for 11 off the claim on Tapeta. The ROI predictably a big one. This horse ran the best race last time, Ron. If this horse improves, they're not going to be able to beat him.
That horse with a couple of changes is the number 6, Dunnigan, who's now listed as a gelding, hoping to find a little more firepower today for the stretch drive. Finished at even 4th against this level of competition. Last out, Rowan Crichton. You're getting Samuel Camacho Jr. in the saddle. I thought that horse ran okay, and I think is a player on your tries and your supers. Folk show.
No doubt about it. Got back to this level last time, seemed to wake up. Rohan, I think, was 1 for 24 to start the meet. Now you see he's up to 3 wins. You know this barn, when it's all said and done, is going to be in the 20s.
Going to race number 4 this afternoon. We're going to keep it long, and we're going to keep it on the Tapeta. This is about 1 mile in the 16th. Claim is fillies 3 or 4 and up. Non-winners of 3 in life. 8,007 is going to go to the post in here. We'll kick it off with the horse. I think, did you single this one? No. Sweet Actress?
No, I went 1-4.
1-4. Sweet Actress dropping to this level after following the victory over the horse that I put. We'll talk about Rubisa in a minute.
Yeah, she can't be 8-1, right? She's got to be way lower than that. She's going to get bet. This drop is huge for her. Tammy Levy claims her for 12-5, 3 back, gets a win for 12-5, takes a shot last time. It didn't work out. Now she's back with her friends. She is 5 for 9 in the exacta on the Tapeta. She's got the right running style. She's got the right post, and she's got to be
No. You're not getting 8-1.
You're going to get about 7-2 on her, I think.
I got the 2 Rubisa, who goes to the Mike Morrison barn after the claim steps up to the next level after drawing clear impressively, I thought, to defeat those 8,002 lifetime claimers. Going a mile 70 yards on the Tapeta. New connections are going to keep the status quo with MCL Jaramillo in the saddle. I'm all with you with Sweet Actress. I was flip-flopping these 2 and back. The horse I faded a little bit in here is the horse that you have in second, number 4, Caronville. I wasn't that enamored. I kept going back and forth, third, fourth. I ended up putting this horse fourth.
Yeah, the only thing, I'm going to note is that she woke up last time, and she is in for 8 when she came back for 20. That's scary, but maybe this is a barn that just wants to get a W with her, and if they want to move, if somebody claims her, so be it. We'll take the W, we'll take the 8K claim and move on.
Yeah, Kimberly, perfect Kimberly Acid, one of those horses, grabs a piece of the Trier Super every time. So, well, not every time, like 2 back didn't, but most of the time it is right there. Tri Super. Yes. I'm agreeing with the Rubisa and Sweet Actress, definitely for you. We're not getting 8-1. We take a short break. When we come back, we have a 10-race card today, so the Rainbow Six will kick off in race number 5 with a $100,000 gross jackpot guarantee. We'll be right back.
It's probably the most beautiful racetrack in the country, to be honest with you.
The background is just beautiful.
I love Gulfstream Park because of the grandstand and the racing.
The weather is beautiful. The facility is phenomenal.
The Gulfstream Championship meet has become one of the top events of the year. You could come out on a Wednesday and see a future Preakness winner.
They're off in the Preakness. The Run Happy Santa Anita Derby.
Got the unique 6.5 down the hillside turf course.
A whole lot of great racing here in California.
And we're off.
We have all 3 surfaces here, the only racetrack in the country to have all 3 surfaces. Being close to the ocean, being surrounded by some of the greatest horses and riders in history, it's amazing.
It's the prettiest thing you've ever seen. There's no one else has a background like we do.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. I'm stoked now after that count-in. That was a pretty good count-in by Brad. So our 5th race today. Mile on the fast main track. Claim is 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 races in life. $6,250. 9 in the field. This is where the Rainbow Six starts, so let's check my $43.20 ticket out. Got some coverage. We'll talk about race 5 in a moment. I like the number 2 horse. There's a bit of a shot in here from Miss New York. The number 2 is my long shot on the card today. But I used some other horses because I had a single later on stuck in Malibu for Team of Sunshine, who's from Todd Pletcher, who keeps beating me year after year. Race number 7, 3 deep. My top pick is Cheerful Charlie, using Take Care of Business and Extendo. Here's my single in our stakes race this afternoon, which we forgot to mention at the top. We got stakes action today in the Sellers Shiraz for 3-year-olds. I'm going with Frippit on top there. I'm going to try and beat the 4 and the 3 in that race. Race number 9, everybody in America will be single in the number 4 Avow, but I use Miles as Smiles just in case the Avow, Todd's horse, needs a race. And in the last 3 deep with Mayor Remo, Silent Chaos, and the number 5 Express Fado, 43.20 for me.
If you haven't gotten the memo on this Pletcher guy by now, you might be in a little problem. He might be in the Hall of Fame. Oh, wait, no, he already is in the Hall of Fame.
No, he already is.
He's okay, that guy.
I didn't say I was sharp. I'm just saying if I pick him, he wins. If I don't pick him, it's one of those, everybody's got a guy like that. 5th race, as I mentioned at the top, is a mile claimer. You had a single in here, Sovereign of Speed, who's going to stretch out to the mile for Jose D'Angelo.
Yeah, I think the stretch helps, and I thought this horse ran well under kind of a tough set of circumstances last time, was dueling in between the 1st and 3rd place finishers and kind of had to back out of it. Now we stretch out. Now we get second off the layoff, second in the barn as well. And I just think who's running with this horse early, and I love the fact Jaramillo's aboard. we're sending today.
You got a stat too, I believe, on Jose D'Angelo.
Yeah, take a look at it here as I bring it up. Thank you, guys. 32%. So these are in 10K claimers or less in routes here. And a lot of these are at one turn. And I just think this fits perfectly for Sovereign of Speed and what she wants to do.
The number 4 horse in here is Watch for the Loot. And this one has its claiming tag sliced in half. And it's going to wheel back real quick in 7 days after following the maiden victory, going a mile in the slop. Stalks the action, finishes third against 12-5, 2 lifetime claimers going a mile. Joe Orsino, Miguel Vasquez. I know you mentioned a lot of time when these guys hook up, they don't do that well. It's just I had to use this horse.
It's impossible, but they don't. They're 2 for 53. You can't make that up. I mean, ace connections. So here's the thing with Watch for Loot, too. Watch for the Loot. If my horse in my play of the day, Sovereign of Speed, can't see out the mile, Watch for the Loot is going to be in a perfect spot, and she might be 3 clear of the rest of the field if Sovereign of Speed comes off the bridle.
Yeah, they look like logical contenders in there. I used Sandy Dude in third. You used the number 5, and that is Boca Guy, Diane Marisi with Lionel Reyes.
Yeah, I mean, this is a barn that's gotten some traction of late, dropping in class, eligible to wake up.
Race number 6 this afternoon is about 1.70 miles on the Topita. These are maiden special weight filly 2-year-olds. It's a really nice race this afternoon. And we did have one early scratch of the number 8, Dandelion, whatever it is. And that was a 21 shot. You put your ticket together. I'm interested to see if you use my horse, Miss New York.
I did. Your long shot is Miss New York, correct? And my long shot is Heavens Express. They're both in there. There's no way I'm not using Miss New York for every reason that you will mention. Here's a single. Extendo is going to be a huge favorite off an awesome maiden win for Carlos David, debut win too. Back-to-back singles for me. Omi Cheadle in the stakes. I think you could go several ways, or you could single Omi Cheadle. I took the latter. I'm 3 deep in race 9. You mentioned a vow. I'm going to show a trainer stat that says you're supposed to single a vow. We'll talk about it. I actually went with Miles of Smiles on top. 4 deep to get out. Express Pharaoh for me.
Yeah, logical horses in the 9th and 10th there. Getting back to race number 6 this afternoon, the number 2, Miss New York, who ran well. Here's the key. Who ran well on the all-weather surface back in Great Britain, is making her North American debut for trainer Jorge Delgado. He's 30%. With new additions to his shed row. It's a Daughter of Good Magic by Curlin. And you got Carlos Rojas handling this intriguing stateside debut. Just thought this was interesting. Carlos Rojas, where we know him, he's riding, up in Jersey and
Mid-Atlantic,
Mid-Atlantic and stuff. He's a good rider. And he's been riding a lot now for Jorge. Well, he's going to start riding for a lot as we handicap over the next few days. So Carlos Rojas will be in the saddle. And that's it. I just laid it out. I find this horse so intriguing. Would I have used it if it was only turf? Maybe not, but I like the fact that this horse ran well on the all-weather in Europe.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it looks like this horse didn't hit the board, but then you look, it beaten less than a length in 4th in a really, really good effort. I like the fact that the barn is 30% with newcomers. We're drawn well. This is also a horse that will probably fit the running style for routes on the Topita, your European import. You're not going to show a lot of speed.
What about your long shot and you go to the outside, and that is the number 11, Heavens Express, this one from the Chris Duncan barn. Edwin Gonzalez going to handle the outside draw.
Yeah, this horse has just been running on in sprints without the right running style and still making a really strong late dent. There's been pace compromise in both of those sprints. We know you can't close sprinting on the Topita. We also know you can routing on the Topita. And I think finally, as a daughter of Constitution, she's eligible to like this trip. And I think the flow of the race and the running style of the course will help her a lot better today.
Well, here's that Todd Pletcher thing I was talking about with the number 6 wand, and here it comes out of it. It hasn't been seen since August at Saratoga. Didn't fare that well, but that race turned out to be a pretty good race on the grass up there. I think the first place finisher came back and ran 4th in the Alcibiades in there, so I thought it was a good performance. I know you found the stat with Todd.
Yeah, and the first place finisher that he's alluding to is Gera. Has got a puncher's chance. A lot of people like her today in the Breeders' Cup Philly Juvenile Turf. So, food for thought there. Here is the stat. Double Pletcher stats, one coming up later as well. 28% second-time starters at Gulfstream 2-year-olds the past 5 years. Now, it's not an entirety of a stat because there are some horses that were here. But as you know, Ron, the majority of these horses didn't make their first start here. They are shippers because Todd obviously doesn't have a string here in the thick of summer. So, Wand today is eligible to wake way up.
Yeah, so we'll see how it plays out. What about the number 7 horse in here, Stuck in Malibu? Turns back slightly, and they're going to put blinkers on today, hoping both changes help improve the pair. Third place finishes, going a mile in the 16th on the Topita for Patrick Bean Cohn, Lionel Reyes named to ride. Just kept going back to this horse, everyone, saying maybe this horse has a shot. Didn't run badly in a couple of its races, so threw it on my ticket.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, this horse routed last time, and so now we have that under her belt. Sky Kingdom out of a Gone Astray mare, so this is a trip she's supposed to like, and maybe she moves forward a little bit. Won't have to move forward a lot.
Yeah, taking the blinkers off, maybe that'll be it. And then the number 10 horse for me in here before we get to, the Fatima Sunshine is turning back slightly. Finished that one pace fourth in a career debut for who? Todd Pletcher. So he's 25% with maidens making their second start. Mr. Edgar Prado, Hall of Famer, in the saddle. Do you go with the 6? Do you go with the 10? With the 10 horse in here?
Yeah.
Or do you use both?
They didn't really bet her last time in an 8-horse field. She was 9-2. That kind of rubbed me a little bit of the wrong way, and we'll see. She fits under the same stat that we just showed with Wand. I think Wand, to me, may be eligible to move forward a little bit more. There's Leon McCannis walking by us.
Yeah, well, you had a good thing with the winner of that race being in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, so that's Philly Turf this afternoon. Race number 7 this afternoon is 5.5 furlongs, allowance optional claim of 2-year-olds, non-winners of 2 in life. That optional tag is $75,000. You did go. We'll start with your horse in here, Extendo, and we show you. I showed you this. I pulled 2 of your videos in here because I wanted to show Extendo. We'll show that one first. This was back on October 2nd, and there's not much to show except this horse leaving everybody in the dust. So we can pop that one up, and there you're going to see it.
Yeah, and the thing to remember here too, she's just going to absolutely run off the screen here. I wonder if they pulled one over on. I don't know, because the thing to remember here, Carlos David, I believe, Ronnie, is about 9%. First-time starters. Remember the stat with second-time starters, second-time maidens is like 33%. So this isn't typically going to happen with his runners. They better that day, Now, he's not a maiden anymore, but he's running second time. Does he move forward again? I mean, that was awesome.
Now, there's a horse in here right now that's just been having such hard luck in here, and that's Cheerful Charlie and the 6 Take Care of Business. They're coming out of the race I want to show you. This was back on October 8th, and we're going to show it from the 3/16th pole when they closed to finish 3rd and 2nd, respectively, and this was in the Hollywood Beach. There you see Cheerful Charlie is the number 6, and the number 4 is Take Care of Business. And Cheerful Charlie, to me, coming into the stretch wide, I thought ran a little better race than Take Care of Business this afternoon. So, that day. So I thought that these horses ran well. They didn't get the winner, but I thought they ran exceptionally well in that race. And keying off this too, they kept coming in this race. Now they did get a nice pace set up in that field.
A couple things out of that race. They didn't get there, and that's what we've seen on these Topita sprints. That happens a lot. Doesn't matter how fast they go early. The closers can't get there late. The other thing, too, Ron, is I worry about, because we've been rooting for this horse. He's a cool horse. So Luis Oliveira has done such a good job with him. 3 huge stakes efforts in a row. Can we keep going to the well? I wonder if he regresses a little bit today.
Well, sorry, Brian. We'll go to race number 8 this afternoon, which is our stakes race, about 1 mile 70 yards on the Topita. This one is for Philly 3-year-olds, $75,000. The sellers, Shiraz scratched the 2. Katie's Lady will kick it off in here with my single this afternoon. I'll tell you why.
Oh,
then we'll show your, I think you had the other horse single. We'll show that race between Omichito and Miss Uella. But Frippert, debuting locally on the Topita after returning from the layoff to defeat allowance runners. Now, that was going a mile in the 16th on the Meadowland turf. Jonathan Thomas, 40% limited sampling with turf to all-weather surface angle, and he's 32% overall with his all-weather runners. You're getting Hiro Rondon atop this daughter of Go Zappa. I just think this horse is going to run exceptionally well. I wanted a new face on the scene, and we'll see how this one runs.
No, I think that's fair. And JT's a high-percentage trainer. If you're not familiar with him, trains a lot of the George Strawbridge horses, Augustin Stable. And he's about in the, he's in the mid-20s with kind of basically everything he does. That's 6 for 15, turf to synthetic, Ron. That's a huge, huge angle. This horse draws well, too.
We're going to take a trip back to July 23rd, and we're going to show Omichito and Miss Uella running 1st and 2nd in the Miss Gracie Stakes. And this, of course, was on the Topita, and that's why I pulled it up.
Yeah, it's a big effort for Omi Cheadle, and I readily admit I was dead set against her that day because if you look at her past performances, she comes in off an absolute dud on the turf when she was 5-2, and I just said to myself, you know what, I'm not believing in it. And Fausto Gutierrez has done such a great job with her, and she's in way better form now than she was coming into that race. She's already beaten, right? You saw her beat on the square one of her main rivals in Miss U Ella, so we'll see what we get today, but I just thought she was the one in here because if it's not her, you're going fripp it. You could go a lot of different ways if it's not her.
Yeah, Miss Uella, was trying to close, and Miss Uella was 9-5 in that race. Now, that was back in July, so, Omi Cheadle, who won that race, returns. She had the victory at Indiana Grand on the turf, so she's coming back with a win. And, the daughter of More Than Ready is going to have Edgar Perez, who was aboard in the Miss Gracie, so lots of things to like.
I'm glad you brought up that Indiana Grand race because, Fausto Gutierrez must have about 40 condition books because she's from Gulfstream to Colonial. He pops at Indiana in a race she fits in, back down here in another stakes. Sadly, if you didn't see the news, Latruska is going to need about 60 days off. She's not going to run in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. We love her, and so hopefully we'll see her again. We'll see.
That was a weird spot for her in the sprint anyway. I couldn't figure that
Super
one out.
duper weird.
Yeah. Race number 9 this afternoon is 7 furlongs allowance optional claimer. State-bred fillies and mares 3 and up. The optional tag 20,000. Nice field of 7 in here. And I mentioned Avow is making a 3-year-old debut at Lasix. It's first start since that head swirling debut here last December in which she drew clear. She won that race by 8 lengths that day.
It was absolutely awesome. They bet her. She's an Arrogate. You're not going to see too many of those as a Florida bred. It was also December 16th. So where you been? Obviously something want to miss. That wasn't the plan. And now she's back. But my notes out of that race were I kind of felt, Ronnie, that race was just a little bit of an optical illusion. They went so fast early. They slowed to a stop late. I think it flattered her. Now, obviously, she hasn't been back since. Now, conversely, let's take a look at the stat I brought up here because this is wild stat for Todd Pletcher, who obviously is in the Hall of Fame for a million different reasons. Check this out. This is incredible. 41% off 180-plus day layoff in dirt sprints here at Gulfstream the past 5 years. So that stat says Avow is going to run big today. She is a 3-year-old filly taking on some older, and don't forget, those were just 2-year-olds that day. We'll see.
Yeah, she's a $300,000 daughter of Arrogate. And look at the workout pattern up there at Palm Beach. Down. Todd is not known to just keep firing bullets, so this one is working very well. You did go with the 5 miles. The Smiles is stepping up to face winners. Responded to the turn back to a mile and from a mile to 7 furlongs. That was a sharp victory for this horse.
It really was. Now, Avow blew the start in her debut, so I don't expect her to be 11 lengths behind, but I'm pretty confident that Miles of Smiles will be ahead of her, or at least to the outside of her. I think it puts her in a good spot. And she's got a huge recency edge, and she might be 4 times the price.
And the number 1 our fantasy is cutting back to the 7 furlongs of this race after responding in the first race after the claim by Jennifer Young. Stalked the pace third, going a mile in the slop. What I liked about this horse, maybe a little overmatched, but only 3-1 on the board. She's 4 for 6 in the money at the distance, and you got Luca Panici going to handle the inside post. So she likes to run well at this distance, and that's one of my key angles.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, is in her last 2 starts, she's finally been on some good behavior from the gate. She had trouble braking. I needed her a few times. She's blown the brake. Jen did a good job with her last time, rising her in class. Open company optional claimers last time, starter optionals. The other thing, too, Avow might be 3-5 in here, Ronnie. The board's going to be all blown out. You're going to get a much better price than 3-1 on our fantasy.
No, yeah, she's going to be a big price in there, Avow. I don't know what, 3-5. You know that stuff better than me. Race number 10 this afternoon, about a mile in the 16th on the Peter Claim is 3 or 4 and up. Non-winners of 3 races in life. Scratch the 4 horse in here, Pepito. I did go with the number 9 horse. We'll start there. Moves to the Ronaldo Richards barn after the claim. Stretches out just a little bit. Set the pace and yielded late to finish third behind. This very similar competition going a mile and 70 yards. We know how good sharp this barn is. 28% with new claims. And I like the fact that they put the apprentice on this horse this afternoon.
The apprentice, Jaime Torres, now a 7-pound apprentice, has just really done a good job in limited samples. He doesn't get on a lot of 4-1s. A few of his wins are at big numbers. I agree with everything you said, Ron. And Ronaldo Richards has just been keeping on. He's 28% off the claim as well.
The number 5 Express Faro has its claiming tag today sliced in half, returns locally on the Tapeta.
Yeah, that's it, the drop in class. You look at the Tapeta race here in November, and it was a really, really strong run against kind of the profile of the course. I like this horse coming back today for Victor Barboza Jr.
You know, the number 8 Silent Chaos became the only 3-time winner in the field when she drove past Mayorimo at 9-1 last time out for Carlos David. Edgar Perez, if you like that angle, I think you got to use this horse somewhere, which I did on my Rainbow Six, and I believe you did too.
Absolutely. I got it circled. 3 wins. Everybody else is a twofer in here. It's a big deal. Ronnie and I talk about it a lot. It's something to pay attention to in these lower level claiming races.
Well, that's how we see the 10-race card. We got that stakes action to Stella Shiraz on Friday, Breeders' Cup Day, but we are not done. As we like to do each and every Friday, is check out what's going on in the standings. Am I wrong saying Miguel Vasquez might be on top?
I think you're in a good spot there. That's one of the safer predictions you have. And Miguel and Safi Joseph Jr. The Safi's tightened up a little bit, but these guys have just been setting the bar, and they've been setting it really, really high. And there you see it there. They just continue to lead the way. We don't really have a lot to do when we show the standings every Friday because this is it. Edgard, don't forget now, going for a career victory number 2,000 on. He's going to get it today.
Yeah, he almost got it about 18 times,
Yeah.
it seemed, on Saturday and Sunday. He just got beat at the wire, so Edgar going for 2,000. Lionel right there, one of my favorite riders, you know, especially in the winter with the, you know, he flies under the radar. You can get some bombers with him. You know, MCL, Edgar Perez, of course, so the top 5, pretty logical to me.
Yeah, without a doubt. And this has tightened up a little bit here. Safi's still leading the way, but Jose D'Angelo, Victor Barboza, and Jorge Delgado is going to have a busy day up at Keeneland. Going to saddle Willie Boy with Chantel aboard tomorrow in the sprint.
Yeah, so good luck to all those connections up there. And Safi with 9 wins. Last time we were doing this in the summer, he was already up by 12, it seemed, after a week. So it's a little tight, and that makes it interesting. Got some nice stakes action tomorrow.
Yeah, as Ronnie kind of alluded to, we got 12 races tomorrow. Regular 12.25 post, but we'll carry you all the way to the Breeders' Cup Classic. And we do have a stakes. It's the Showing Up. Grand David and Strike Hard, the former, that's Grand David, and we're going to show him winning the Bears Den here. He's got a big Strike Hard's been so good as a 3-year-old, but Grand David, this is obviously on the Tapeta, and he's just running them all into the ground. He's got a big edge because Strike Hard has not tried that surface yet.
Yeah, so we'll see how that plays out. It's going to be fun to bet these races tomorrow along with the Breeders' Cup races. What about your best bet today?
Yeah, that's, speaking of Jose D'Angelo, that is him in race 5, Sovereign of Speed.
Nice price of 9-2. My think today's Frippet, the course I singled into Rainbow Six at 4-1 this afternoon. Your long shot is in race what? Oh, it's same race.
Same race, yeah.
You
Evans Express all the way to the outside for me does draw in a stall, and you've got the kind of the newcomer, right?
Yeah, I got Miss New York, North American debut for good connections, so Georgie Delgado. So we'll see how that plays out today. Trying to get a little bit of a price. I think that horse is going to run okay. I know you and I were part of the free wagering guide that you can get for the Breeders' Cup selections.
Yeah, so here it is here. It's out there, Twitter and the website and all that kind of good stuff. And you can see kind of what we did was all of the first kind of track analysts, I guess we'll say. Yeah. We picked the race that we liked the most. And I want to throw it back to you because the race you picked, let's talk about it for a quick second here. Atomically today in the Juvenile Fillies.
Yeah, I like this horse going all along. Of course, was winning very impressively, winning the finale of the Florida Sire Stakes. And just look at the past performances in that race. If you think this horse doesn't have a shot, I would disagree hardly. I think this horse is a big shot now in the Todd Pletcher barn.
And she's probably going to be 6-7-1 in that Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. First time Todd Pletcher off the private purchase. Jose Pinchin, a good job with her.
And, of course, as we've been mentioned, not only today, tomorrow, join us for the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah, so everything's going to kind of open early tomorrow, obviously, with that early post at Keeneland. We'll run you through a 12-race card with the stakes as well, but come on out here. Hope to see you. Fire all day here. Fire at the Breeders' Cup. Great deals at Silks. We got everything around, so hope to see you. It's going to be a beautiful day here, too, as well.
Yeah, one thing else I want to mention, that you can actually watch and wager on all the races, both Friday and Saturday on the Breeders' Cup today. So if you're in earshot of us today and you want to come out and you got something to do, I don't know what you would have to do on Saturday, you can bet those races today.
Fire early and fire often. And, we'll hope to see you out here. And we got to throw it upstairs now to Darren Gagne's back. Good to have him from the Great North, right?
Yeah, he's filled in a couple of years. Of course, Pete on vacation. Darren does an excellent job, so he'll be taking you through the scratches and jockey changes. Hey, we'll be back for race number 1.
The industry has a few things that we have to take care of better, and one was the aftercare of the horses.
If we did nothing, these horses would end up in very bad places. That can't happen.
We have a social responsibility to make sure that thoroughbred aftercare is also number 1 on the list.
The cost could be the entire industry. We have to take care of these horses.
I remember that meeting at Belmont Park. It was a dream.
It's different than any other program that was put into place.
It is a first line of defense for those who are concerned about what happens to the equine athlete after he's done racing.
We started with some 21 organizations across the country, and now we're up to over 82 facilities throughout the country and giving away almost just under $25 million.
It's the one shining accomplishment that we have that we can point to say we really do love our horses.